Welcome back to the Power Six Podcast. Here's your host, Isaiah Rose.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Power Six Podcast. This week, Headley's not going to be able to make it, and Connor's running late. So right now, you got the four biggest Husker fans in the room right now. The Skurs are 5-3. It feels amazing. I don't have much to say because I'm way too excited. Max, what we got cooking this week?
We have a jam-packed agenda this week. Nebraska with the big win, dominant performance in most aspects. And another crazy weekend of college football. It is the gift that keeps on giving. I love college football. Another awesome weekend. It's a special sport. And then, of course, we have our first college football playoff rankings that we're going to react to. We might give our own rankings. We might not. I don't know. We'll see how much time we're at by then. Brian Ferentz update, more than just a points tracker update this week. And then a jam-packed Week 10 slate, actually. Some really good matchups this week. So let's get right into it. Nebraska beats Purdue 31-14 in Lincoln. Frigid day, second coldest game I've ever been to. It was a lot colder than I thought it was going to be honest. And, we can say once again that it's an ugly win, but how much do you have to win by for it to not be ugly anymore? 31-14. Brad made known to me on Saturday that the line did in fact close at Purdue -1. So Nebraska reverse covered times 17 in my eyes.
That's impressive. I will talk about an ugly win as long as we are winning. And that's something that Matt Rule noted in his press conference after the game is you noticed how we started the season, like, what has it been that keeps Nebraska just losing these close games? They always feel like they're right in it. To now we've shifted to it's an ugly win. Like, they're making progress. Yes, the offense is still not performing very well. The defense is playing out of their mind per usual. So if they keep this up and are still winning games, hey, I'm on board.
Hey, Iowa's been doing this for how long? Nebraska's jumping on the train. This is Big Ten football. They're not all pretty games. They're not like the SEC. This is Big Ten football, and I think most people just aren't used to it. The defense played great. Special teams, awesome. Tristan Alvano getting his career-long 55 yards, amazing.
Second longest field goal in school history, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that kid,
As a freshman.
as a true freshman, that kid is breaking the school record, 100%. And then the blocked field goal, return for a touchdown. I was losing my shit during that at the game. Like Max said, it was a pretty cold game. Top 5 cold games that I've been to. But overall, the atmosphere was awesome. It feels so good to be 5-3. We're this close to going bowling. I cannot.
I'm
And
not
right,
too excited.
Right.
Aside from this weekend's game, the rest of Nebraska's schedule does look challenging, with Maryland, Wisconsin, and Iowa. But yeah, the boys are playing well. I think the turnaround is ahead of schedule as far as what everybody else is thinking. And, 1-0 every week. That's all they got to keep in their heads. They need to not that's what I'm worried about is they think bowl game on the line this week, and then they go out flat-footed against Michigan State and just get flonked. So they just need to continue to do what they do that they have been these last few weeks, and then they'll be just fine.
We're in luck because, like Headley says, we kind of own Michigan State. So I'm not, it could flop and hit me back in the face, but I think Nebraska's got a very good chance of winning this game. Michigan State looks horrible. And I'm drinking the Kool-Aid hard, so I'm still saying we're going 9-3 at this point.
Yeah, we got to have this game. I mean, Michigan State is completely down this year, firing their head coach, putting up freaking Adolf Hitler on the big jumbotron. Like, we got to have this game. Absolutely have to have this game. Can't lay down to them. And then to Devin's point, like, the last 3 games, they're not gimmies. I would say Michigan State, honestly, should be a gimme. But the last 3 games, not so much. But I will say our defense is fucking good. And they should stop Michigan State, being Michigan State's offense is not good as well. I mean, I think they rank worse than Nebraska in total offense. And then also our offense, we need to fucking hold the ball. Our fumbles are going to kill us. How many did we have? Like 5? 4 or 5?
5-4 lost.
4? Yeah, that is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Absolutely unacceptable, no matter if we win or not. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, we have the most fumbles in the country, and it's going to bite us one of these times. If Tristan Alvano didn't do Tristan Alvano things and make that 55-yarder, it would have been a 21-14 game with 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That's really scary. Luckily, it was 24-14, 10 points. Nebraska gets a little drive. Emmett Johnson does his thing, and that's 31-14.
Yep.
Could have been really scary. Now, one of those fumbles was Jeff Sims, who is potentially the worst quarterback actually to ever play at Nebraska. I don't even, if we were more popular, I wouldn't say that out of respect for Jeff Sims, but because we get like 30 people to watch our podcast, I'm going to just say that. He is probably the worst quarterback in the history of Nebraska football.
Hands down, especially during our generation.
Honestly,
he's got to be the worst.
So unfortunate for him that the 2 drives he's come in, he has gone the wrong way and fumbled, I believe, both times or just this last time. Like it's super unfortunate for him.
He's fumbled every game he's played.
And it is even worse than the turnovers because, like you said, Brett, he comes in for like 4 plays against Purdue, and like 3 of them he's like either turning the wrong way, almost snaps it into the motion guy again, then like it's just the offense is totally out of whack when he's in the game. It's like it's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. It's bad.
I feel bad. I honestly do feel bad because I was like, I really wanted to see him again, but it's just not gonna work.
Yeah, Brad, that's on you, man.
Yeah, that is.
You asked for that, and it happened.
The last 3 weeks, I did bring up Jeff Sims and seeing him on the field, so I will take that for Husker Nation. That's on me, boys. That's on me.
I'm going to blame Coach Rule and not medically redshirting Jeff Sims after his injury in week 2, because now he has no more eligibility after this year, I don't believe.
He has one more because he has a COVID year still.
Oh, what will he get? It'll be a second transfer, so only have to sit out a year.
I don't know if the COVID rule applies to that or not. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't.
Yeah. It's just I think his confidence is at an all-time low. I definitely don't see him sticking around next year. And then that brings up a huge question going into the offseason is who's the quarterback? Is it going to be Daniel Kalen? Is Harburg going to keep going or what that looks like? That's a discussion for another time. The boys are looking good no matter how ugly. We got to keep rolling.
So, any talk of getting Raiola after this?
I will say,
if we go 9-3,
I don't think the 2024 Nebraska starting quarterback is currently on the roster.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to be hitting the transfer portal for that.
I would say I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Hola, amigos.
Hola.
Oh,
Connor's joining us.
He shows up.
Should we just jump
Everyone's
to
favorite member of the Power Six.
Iowa?
Well, not yet, because I did have some very impressive Nebraska defensive stats that I am going to rattle off really quick.
Okay, go ahead.
195 yards allowed. That's Purdue's lowest offensive output of the season. From 2019 to 2022, Scott Frost won 3 Big Ten West games. Matt Rhule just won 3 in a row. That was a 3-year and then some stretch for Scott Frost. This is Nebraska's first game allowing less than 100 rush yards and less than 100 pass yards since 2012 Minnesota. Nebraska in their last 3 games has an 87.2% stop rate. That is 4th in the FBS. 0 touchdowns allowed in only 6 red zone trips in that span as well. Zero red zone touchdowns. Very impressive. Also, I did want to. I don't know if you guys did. You guys listen to the Nick Baugh podcast this week?
I have not yet.
I thought there was an extreme disservice to this year's defense by them comparing them to the 2021 defense. It's not close. That defense was really good. but they were really good because our perception was so far off. Because in 2018, our total defense was 94th. In 19, it was 64th. 2020 was 50th. In 2021, it was 47th. So it's the highest it had ever been. It's pretty damn good. Last year was 100. This year it's 12th in the country. It was 47th in 2021. This year we're 12th in the country in total defense. In scoring defense, we're 21st in the country. We hadn't been above 50 in the past 5 years, except for 2021. It was 36th, and this year we're 21st. It's not even close. It is not even close. This defense is one of the best defenses in the country. They're 4th in rushing yards per attempt. They're 5th in rush defense. They're 27th in pass defense efficiency, 12th in total defense, 21st in scoring defense, top 25 in sacks, top 25 in tackles for loss. They're dominating. So yeah, did just want to say that real quick.
This is probably before we go to the Iowa stuff. This is probably the second most dominant defense we've seen in our generation. The 09-010 defense.
We'll give them those two. Those two defenses were both really good.
Yeah. But this is the second best defense we've seen in our generation by far.
And there's so many guys too. Another stat I saw is that Frost's defenses were taking an average of 80-something snaps a game in the 80s. This defense is taking an average of 60 snaps per game, and there's way more rotation. I mean, these guys are so fresh heading in the month of November. Massive advantage. Massive advantage.
Well, we're playing like 18 to 22 guys a game.
Yeah.
The rotation is fantastic. You know, you're keeping guys fresh out there. The offense, they keep basically the same players out there. You know, you switch out wide receivers, running back. Some offenses can't keep up with our rotation. And I feel like that's shown a lot in the last 2 games. Also,
with all these turnovers, I think it's in the last 3 games, there's been 13 drives starting in Nebraska territory, which is horrible. In those 13 drives, only 3 have gotten a touchdown starting in Nebraska territory. So that's pretty damn impressive. But yeah, and we still have the #1 rushing offense in the Big Ten too. So that's pretty cool. Emmett Johnson looks really good. Wanted to shout that out. His vision, I think, is his main attribute. He runs really well. He sees the hole really well.
He's going to be a fucking dog once he gets, built a little bit more. He's going to be gunning for the Heisman, you know?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And then last thing, too, because I just saw this again. Why was Purdue so chippy in that game? They were talking shit before the game, during the game, and they got smoked. It was embarrassing.
My guess is Ryan Walters.
Yeah, I think he had a little extra juice going in that game. Didn't work. But anyway.
Can I shout out somebody?
Absolutely.
Tommy fucking Hill.
Tommy Hill.
Have a day, young man. Have a day, young man. He went off.
INTs.
Dude, that first INT, we get it, and then the next play is a touchdown. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was hushed.
And shout out to Jalen Lloyd on that too, true freshman, just like with Malachi. Those guys are ridiculously fast. That's what they've been saying. So big props there. Also, Emmett Johnson, 5.8 yards per carry. 5.8. I believe in the Northwestern game, he had over 6. So Emmett Johnson is just, I mean, that's an insane yards per carry. Dude is running really well. Isaac Gifford, want to shout him out on defense too. 10 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 pass breakup. Led the team in tackles. So, and then it was John Bullock and then Phelan Sanford. Names that we did not hear the last few years are a couple of our best defenders. So that's speaks to the development. Oh yeah, I did mention the obvious. First 3-game win streak since 2016. First undefeated October since 2001. Had that in here as well. I couldn't believe that stat, but that's really cool. And then Tommy Hill Heisman, obviously going to happen. So,
hey, he's our best coverage DB. What can I say?
He was acting like it. He was acting like I mean, if you talk about development and the staff getting players to play up to their potential. We're seeing that with, I just mentioned Phelan Sanford and John Bullock. We're seeing that with Tommy Hill. I mean, I remember when he's a transfer from ASU. It was a big transfer, and then he sucked, and now he's playing really good. So, props to this staff, man. They're doing a great job. Did we want to get into now results of the weekend, or should we just get into?
Let's get into
Brian.
Iowa.
Let's get into Iowa.
Let's talk about Brian.
First off, since I wasn't here last week, I just want to say it wasn't a fair catch.
Gotta make sure to
Still heated
It was
about it.
just an illegal
We
motion.
should be 7-1 right now. Just want to let that be known.
You at the World
Let's
Series game?
continue.
Yeah,
Let's
I agree.
continue.
I agree with PJ Fleck, man. He's a saint. I look up to PJ Fleck.
Shut up.
Yeah, listen. PJ Fleck said it wasn't controversial, and how can you disagree with that guy? I think he's
Yeah, obviously he knows. He's all knows.
He's a saint.
But anyway, Brian Ferentz, it was the bye week, and Brian Ferentz is no longer going to be with Iowa after the season end, so he's going to remain until then. And I believe this came directly from the interim athletic director and really had nothing to do with Kirk Ferentz. He seemed pretty hissy in his weekly press conference a day or two ago. But Brian's gone.
He didn't seem very happy, but I don't really like how they decided to do it right in the middle of the season when they're competing for a Big Ten West championship here on the line. It's a big deal, Big Ten West. And just
Last one.
firing one of your coaches in the middle of the season is not probably
He resigned.
thing for
He kind of got forced to resign, I'm sure.
yeah, forced
I
to
don't think-
resign.
I don't even really think it was a resign. I think it's just a mutual agreement is kind of how they said.
I've seen where it said resign, and then I've seen where it said mutual agreement or whatever, or that he's also fired. Whatever, same.
Whatever.
He's not with the
Same
team.
thing.
Yeah, he's going to be gone.
It's because he's a bad coach. That's why.
Yeah, he's terrible. He was actually terrible. It's so bad for us, for Nebraska.
Yeah. Bad news for the
Really,
Scourge.
really bad for Nebraska.
Nothing's gonna change for the offense the rest of the season.
No.
Yeah.
But moving forward in years
Next
to
year.
come,
Yeah,
yeah, when you
We'll
guys
see if
actually,
Well,
I'm
they
interested to
definitely
see
need
what
it.
Kirk's gonna do now. If that's gonna influence how long he stays as the head coach and whatnot.
I think he's gone after next season. I'll
Yeah,
give him
maybe
2 years.
That's my prediction, too.
maybe a year or so.
I
Not
think
much
it's gonna
longer.
be a year.
Honestly, it does kind of suck just as fans of the Brian Ferentz points tracker because first of all,
Well,
it really never lived up to the hype during the season. He was well below it for a lot of it, but it was still fun. And then now it's just over. Kind of sucks.
Hey, we can still see if he gets that average up.
True.
I don't even think he's even going to sniff 25.
He scores 40 every game the rest of the season.
I
Then
mean, who else?
Then they keep him.
Who does Iowa have left?
Nebraska.
They got
Northwestern.
Nebraska,
They have Rutgers.
Illinois, and Illinois.
Oh, those are low total games right there.
Yeah.
Well, if Iowa's involved, they're all low. What team is it not going to be a low total?
Wait, what does Brian needs to average like what 35, 40 points or whatever?
Yeah,
in
probably
the
something like
next
that.
4 games.
Which it's quite unfortunate because the total for the entire game itself this weekend is less than what Brian Ferentz needs to average. So not a good look.
Yeah, isn't that 29.5 right now?
Well, it opened at 29.5. It's up to the 30.5, which would
Oh,
tie
good.
the record.
Good. Got to do it for the culture. Bend the under just for the culture.
But that man is a Big Ten West legend. He epitomized everything the Big Ten West stood for, but accentuated it to a degree that no one wants to see on their team, which is the dead last offense 2 years in a row. That's awesome.
Brian Ferentz can say that he had a really good record at what he coached at Iowa, though. That's one thing he can say.
He also was a really good offensive line coach. In his last year O-line coaches, he won the offensive line
Hey,
best O-line in the country.
could have gone to the NFL as an O-line coach, but decided to try to be an offensive coordinator.
He could
Didn't
come
work
to
out.
Nebraska and coach the O-line after Donovan's gone.
That would be fun. I don't know. Our O-line is actually quite a bit better last year, so maybe I don't know. I think Donnie's doing an all right job actually.
It is. I think I saw somewhere though that Rule after his first year at all of his rebuilds has fired his own line coach.
Really?
Yeah. And
That's
it's like,
funny.
oh, it kind of makes sense if they kept Donovan around to begin with to maybe have a shot at Dylan, and they didn't get him. So interesting. They have played better though this year. I do agree, especially with all the injuries. Guys have stepped up.
By the way, I'm just gonna say I did not ask Ryan, so let me ask Ryan right now.
I texted Ryan. He hasn't texted me back.
Let's get into
If he's here, I don't know if he's here or not.
Max, mute yourself before you go.
No, run over. Don't mute yourself.
Oh
Let's hear this.
yeah.
Let's hear
All right,
this.
I don't think he's home right now, so that could be bad.
This could be detrimental.
Well, we still could do Abe Lincoln.
I was thinking the same thing.
I was thinking the same thing. All right, anyway.
Results.
Yeah, let's get into results. Okay. We got to start with Kansas, the Jayhawks, beating the Sooners. This game was delayed for a while. Actually, cut in the Nebraska game. If you're watching on TV, but 38-33, Jayhawks get the win with a. I watched the highlights. Fourth quarter, under 2 minutes, they get the ball back.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I didn't even really get to watch it because I was trying to watch the Husker game, but Kansas upsetting Oklahoma, 14-point dog. That would
Not
have
good
been
for football
huge.
fans.
That would have been a huge
I
underdog.
thought 14. I thought that one closed at 8 or 9 or something.
Oh, I don't know. Last time I saw it was 14.
Last week when we did the pod, we had it at 9.5.
Oh, damn.
Still though,
Big dog.
Big dog.
it's actually crazy. Kansas was less of a dog than Iowa was to Wisconsin when Devin got that one. That's crazy, actually. Big win though for the Jayhawks. Tough for Oklahoma. They definitely. I mean, they got to win out and win the Big 12 championship to get in the playoff. Now they were sitting prime spot, but they let one go. See what else was big. Oregon over Utah, dominant. I think Oregon looks like the best one-loss team in the country right now. In fact, the more I watch them and the more I watch Washington in the last few weeks, I'm surprised Washington did win that game. Oregon looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, Washington's fell apart since
A little
they
bit.
won.
A little bit, yeah.
Penn State, Indiana, kind of
That
a
was
close
crazy
game.
for a little bit. Yeah, no, that was crazy for a little bit.
Wow.
And Indiana plays Wisconsin this weekend. Go Hoosiers. That would
Yeah,
set
go
Nebraska
Hoosiers.
up if they can win that one.
Yeah.
By the
go
way,
Hoosiers.
Tanner Mordecai is out for the season, and Braylon Allen got injured in that game. He did not play in the second half, and it looks like a high ankle sprain. Same thing to having a Jeff Sims return is EBD right now. And Wisconsin's leading wide receiver was out in the second half with an injury, and they're on their backup
Wow.
quarterback.
Terrible.
Yeah,
That's insane.
USC's weakened by Cal. Is this hurting Caleb Williams' draft stock? Is he no longer the
That's a great question. I'm
I
not
didn't even watch
sure.
it. He play like shit.
I think he threw for like 50 some percent
Well,
and a pair of touchdowns.
how many times did he throw it?
Like 47. I'm gonna throw out
Jesus.
there. He throws the ball a lot.
That's all they do is throw the ball.
This thing, that thing, Guzzo.
When I checked this game at one point, Cal was leading by like 10.
No, yeah, Cal was up late, honestly, in the fourth, and then
He was
lost.
He was
yeah.
23 of 40 for 370 and 2 touchdowns.
Do you have any picks?
No picks, but just over 50%. He's, I don't want to say a stat pattern at this point, but he throws, their offenses run through him throwing the football, and they're barely squeaking by some of these teams that they should be, you would think they would be beating by an easy margin.
Yeah, I wonder if he comes back next year, because I know he talked about it a little bit, or I heard a little whispers about it, just because he's making a lot of money NIL.
I can see it. because the Cardinals aren't going to take him, and they have the #1 pick. Jalen back.
That was
I don't know
tough,
if
by the way. That's been the story of my season with my underdogs. So fuck me. There's my customer for the day, okay, and my underdog.
Yeah, that
'Cause-
that is a bad beat.
I've had a number of those with the dogs, man, but it is what it is.
Who's the UMass play this week? Is that your dog?
It might be no. UMass plays bottom of the rail FCS team. There's not even a line on it.
Oh, you're gonna pick UConn then. UConn versus Tennessee.
Correct. Spoiler.
You should have picked UMass last week.
I should have against Army, man. I thought we had a better Army than that, but UMass, man, dogs. I did want to mention Northwestern beating Maryland. Maryland has now lost 3 straight after starting 5-0.
Yeah, huge.
And those 2 losses were to teams that, 2 of those 3 losses were to teams that Nebraska beat in Illinois and Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting, very interesting.
Big Ten West is good.
Big Ten West is a gauntlet.
Honorable mentions: Georgia Tech beating North Carolina.
Yeah,
Does that hurt Drake May's draft stock?
I mean, again, I don't know his
Oregon
numbers.
State.
Oh yeah, Arizona. Woo! Must have been
Arizona's
nice to have them
scary.
as a dog last week.
Arizona is scary.
What
Yeah, they
they're
are.
like they're what 4-4 now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're
they keep being fucking underdogs.
I don't know how. They're the best 4-4 team in the country.
I know. This week they're
By
like
far.
+3 again to UCLA. It's like every week they're like +3, +4, +5, and it's like, bro, it's Zona. They're legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
I don't even
crazy.
think they have De Mahomes either. I don't know
Nope.
if he's back yet.
No, what's the Fafita?
Yeah,
Fafita.
Fafita.
The Fajita. Fajita. I'm hungry. Louisville Cardinals.
Hey,
Yeah, beat the shit out of Duke.
22
I was
zip.
so nervous about that game. That
Oh
shit's
my
so-
God! Don't even. So nervous.
Dude,
That's what I said last week.
how much-
Oh,
I was
did you
nervous.
watch? Did you watch it?
I was at the Husker game, so no.
That's crazy.
I watched one game on Saturday, and that was the Skurs.
That's crazy.
Me too.
Gigantic Louisville fan, and he's
Yeah,
going
we
to
did
different
Connor.
games, man. That's crazy.
yeah. This guy wouldn't leave a Louisville game early.
No, that's for sure.
Nope.
Can we talk about UCLA beating Colorado? Shedeur Sanders getting his ass beat, and then Dion saying that he needs new players.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
not
That
a
guy-
great thing to say.
He's not there to develop players. He's there to get a bag and nothing else. He doesn't care about his players at all.
And the crazy thing is, you see Colorado fans like commenting under that post saying, "Yeah, you tell him, coach, like we need to get better players." When these are kids, these are college kids.
And
You are
Deion
trying to
these are 18-year-olds.
you're trying to develop these players to be, one better, but better men, better leaders. Not everybody's going to the NFL.
And it's funny too, because when they win, Dion's like, we're here. I got my players, brought in the Louis. I'm winning.
Yeah.
And now he's losing. He's like, these players suck. I need new offensive linemen. I just got them. I just said they were Louis,
Mhm.
but they're really bad.
These
Yeah.
guys.
Oh, how the turntables.
Yeah, no, his offensive line is really bad, but he is not. He's not really college coach because college coaches need to develop.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's a crazy thing to say in your first year too, when your entire thing was getting rid of 80% of the current roster and bringing in your players. Those are his players.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a new team every year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be transferring in and out of Colorado.
So, how many years is his contract with Colorado? Is it 8 or 9?
I don't think it's
I
that
want
long.
to say it's like 5.
Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5.
Do we think he makes it that long before Colorado boots him?
Yes.
No, Colorado's definitely not firing him.
5-year contract. 5.
They owe him
He
way
will
too
make
much
it.
money to fire him. I think he
They
could.
love him in Colorado.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he could
As of
leave
now, yeah.
before then, but it's not going to be because Colorado wants him gone.
No, I agree.
He's
I
going to
would-
get at least 4 years in Colorado. At least.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying, that 4th year and they're still dog shit, and then they're like, all right, we don't want you for another year.
Nah, they won't can him.
It'd be tough. He'd have to be doing really bad, I feel like. I mean,
Yeah.
I would hate like as an AD at this point where he's like that. I would hate dealing with that.
well, his AD looks really smart right now because the university's making
Oh,
more
they're
money
making-
than it ever has off of its
They-
football.
They
program.
are making so much.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So the AD's fine.
That's true.
I just love
didn't
it
think
because
about
the national media has kind of quieted down.
Yeah.
Since we got to bring Colorado back to reality.
Yeah. Since they've been losing, they don't talk
Yeah,
about Colorado. too much.
Exactly. They
Which is
still highlight
awesome.
when the Sanders kids do great things or when Hunter does great things. It's still highlighted everywhere,
Yeah.
but they don't talk about any of the other players.
No, I couldn't name other players on that team, to be honest.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that with those comments, the O-line might start playing even worse now because Deion's kid is who they're protecting.
exactly.
It was like, what the fuck, man? No,
They also
screw-
got their jewelry stolen
yeah.
during that game.
Maybe don't flex it all over the place, and then everyone knows what stadium you're playing at. You know,
Yeah.
tough. Is that mostly good for reactions? I know. I mean, Wazoo lost another. That's 4 in a row. Tough.
Ohio
Dude.
State didn't
Wazoo-
cover.
Wazoo's
They
kind
won.
of falling apart.
Oklahoma State wins again, so they're before a Bedlam matchup that we'll get into as well.
They're ranked.
Yep.
Good for them.
With that, before we get into, because we've already gotten into Brian Ferentz, before we get into our college football playoff rankings, we haven't hit on it yet on the podcast. Michigan stealing signs, Connor Stallions. We're being efficient with the pod. We're getting a lot of topics in today.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It's an interesting story that it seems something new revolving around it pops up every day.
Yeah.
You know, him being on Central Michigan sideline
That
for
is
something when
crazy.
they were playing Michigan State is wild to me.
Yeah. I'm
now-
so indifferent. Like, I'm so indifferent about so many of the different topics.
The Central Michigan thing puts this even to a crazier level because Central Michigan has come out and said that they don't know who that was. If they knew who that was and it wasn't Connor Stallions, they would have came out with it by now.
Mhm.
Everything's in records, and they would be defending themselves, and Spartan Stadium would be defending their security. But I think that is Connor Stallions, and I think he faked the entire outfit, and he faked the sideline pass, and people are now saying his sunglasses were those sunglasses that you can record video on.
Mhm.
Like, it's insane. That is insane.
It's just a wild story because I don't think anything can really come of it. Yeah, they can issue some kind of punishment to Michigan, but I think the level of the punishment isn't going to take them out of the playoff. It's not going to be a bowl ban.
I don't think they'll be punished this season. I think they'll be punished after this season
Yeah,
ends.
Do you think they get the death penalty next season?
the death, like they're going to kick the football program off the campus.
No, they
like,
just let them play.
They won't let them play next year.
No, I doubt it.
No.
Won't let them play in the playoffs, maybe.
In the rule book, I don't think the punishment can be a bowl ban.
Yeah, I think it's going to be potentially Jim Harbaugh and other coaches might be suspended for as much as a season. And then I think it might be a steep fine to the Michigan athletic program
Yeah, could be.
is kind of the lines that I think it's going to go. Because I don't think they want to punish the current players with like a bowl ban or, canceling a whole season. I think they want to punish the root of the issue, which it has to be Jim Harbaugh, whether he says he knew about it or not. It's insane. I mean, and the program, I think is who they want to punish. So,
Mhm.
and I think rightfully so, because what's been coming out with this story, I think it's not good for college football, and it's clearly against the rules. And I don't think any other teams are out there scouting other teams live with video feed or faking outfits,
Yeah.
sideline passes, and sunglasses that record video on sidelines. I think that's.
I was gonna
insane.
say, I definitely think there's people out there like watching film, like you're supposed to be, but the extent that Connor Stallions has gone to acquire some of this stuff, and his Michigan manifesto is just wild. It's a crazy story.
So I was just looking up the death penalty. It just says that NCAA's power to ban a school for competing from a sport for at least 1 year. So if they were to get the death penalty, they just wouldn't be able to play at all next year, which would be crazy. But I don't think that'll
They're
happen.
not going to get the
No,
death
that's not
penalty.
going to happen. That's
They
not
would
gonna happen.
have something so much more drastic happen.
It would have to be like the entire team for them to get the death penalty.
Yeah.
It was like in on this or something.
And if Penn
Right.
State didn't get the death penalty in 2011, Michigan's not going to get the death penalty for this.
No.
The funniest costume at the Husker game, though, was the two guys dressed up as Michigan fans, and the guy had binoculars.
That was funny.
Hilarious.
That was Connor Stallions. Quick tank.
All right.
Bang.
Well, I was going to get into the college football playoff rankings
Okay.
because we haven't talked about that. So, Ohio State, #1 team. And then Georgia, #2, Michigan, #3. A bit of a departure from the AP poll, but the CFP comes in and does their own thing midway through the season. No one is, has their throne, if you will. And then, some shakeups around the rest of the rankings, but obviously the story's at the top there with Ohio State. I know we had a couple texts about it last night. It was surprising, but I personally don't disagree with it.
I was going to say, the more I look at it, the more I do agree with it. They've played a tougher schedule, and they've continued to win football games. It's hard to believe because they're not the flashy Ohio State that we've seen in recent years. They don't have a first-round quarterback, at the helm, but they're still a solid football team.
Yeah, if there was no AP poll for the first 8 weeks of the season, and then they just showed us this poll, I would completely agree with it.
Yeah, like to attest to what Devin said, they're not flashy, but it's Ohio State. They're always going to have a great team. They do have, better wins on their schedule than Georgia and Michigan. So right when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is crazy. But, bringing it to reality, it's not as crazy as I first thought. They are a good football team, and it's going to be exciting to see how it shakes down when Ohio State and Michigan play.
Yeah, it's really how you look at it. I mean, Ohio State obviously has the better resume with the wins over Penn State and Notre Dame. But I would say Georgia and Michigan, especially Michigan, they don't have the strong schedule, obviously, but they are murdering everyone. I mean, they are not just laying down and playing close to Wisconsin, who is absolute dog shit. They're fucking murdering everybody. So it's just really how you look at it, and the committee is looking at it as the strengths of schedule and the resume. So,
yeah, and one thing that I like to, I'm a huge proponent of tough schedules. The SEC still plays an 8-conference game schedule, which I think is bullshit. So that's already a knock against Georgia. And then so far, Georgia's out of conference has been UT Martin, Ball State, and UAB. That's horrible. And the rest of their SEC schedule has been pretty bad so far. And as we know, Michigan, who plays 9 conference games, so that's a little bit of a bump in favor of them. But their out of conference was UNLV, Bowling Green, East Carolina. Again, terrible. I don't want to reward that. Ohio State scheduled Notre Dame in the non-con. That's what we need to see. And I'm just happy to see that Ohio State is being rewarded for that and for that win. And I hope this sends a message, hopefully moving forward to Georgia and Michigan, schedule tougher non-con games if you want to be taken more seriously. You've dominated everyone, but you just can't be #1 if you're just gonna cupcake your way, to an undefeated record. So I like to see that from the committee.
Michigan's schedule next year is a gauntlet.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So
I try not to let the first week of the college football playoff ranking change anybody's mind, because Ohio State and Michigan still have to play, obviously. Georgia is going to have to play their tougher opponents at some point. They have Missouri this weekend, and then, they have to play Ole Miss and Tennessee still. So we'll get to see really what they're made of. And, Michigan, I think, still plays Penn State and Ohio State. So there's a lot of big games that still have to happen that could just completely shake up the college football playoff poll.
Yeah, this is a huge November for the college football playoff poll for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, like you said, Devin, everything works itself out. I mean, we still have a lot of these teams to play each other. Georgia's got big games coming up. Washington and Oregon will likely see each other in the Pac-12 championship, to face off again. So yeah,
I'm just excited to get to the 12 team playoff once they get the Pac-12 stuff all situated, because in recent years it just feels like Michigan and Ohio State always knock each other out of the playoff when they're obviously some of the best teams in the country. And it was the same way when Alabama and Georgia were kind of going at it for a few years. Sometimes there are those years where they still sneak in, but we need to have the best teams in there, not putting it up to chance.
Yeah. I kind of disagree with your Ohio State-Michigan analogy, because that is an on-the-field matchup, so that you could say that's a playoff game in and of itself. I think it's worse when you have a team doesn't get in and you don't know if they could have beaten any of the other teams in. Like 2014 when TCU and Baylor didn't get in, and they were both one-loss teams. Because some people like the 14 playoff because of the fact that every game you play is a playoff game.
Yeah, I would say it in the sense that since Michigan and Ohio State are on the same side of the division, like that, it's more often than that winner of that game is going to the Big Ten championship. So then the loser doesn't even have a shot to showcase that they should be in the playoff. It's really up to how the championship games play out.
Yeah, but and I do agree with you. I'm more excited for the 12-team playoff. We do need a 12-team playoff. But just to, again, devil's advocate, you could argue that that was their shot. Michigan, Ohio State, that's their shot.
Yeah,
Nebraska already blew 3 shots against Michigan, Minnesota, and Colorado.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the season is your shot.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I always think back to when Alabama, lost and somehow still found a way to be in the playoff.
Yeah,
and it really just comes down to people's decisions at that point.
Yeah. 12 teams.
Alabama didn't make it last year, and then everyone's pissed. It all.
And you know what? We're still going to talk about this same thing. It's just going to be teams 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, but
you don't care as much then.
I was going to say, you'll have more teams in, so it's like, how much can you really complain?
You should have won a couple more games.
Yeah, if you can argue, that if you're on the edge of being the 12th best team, then you're leaving it up to chance to get a shot for the national championship. But yeah, if you're like the 5th best team, you should get a shot for the national championship.
With how the season has gone this year, I wish the 12-team playoff started this year, because there are 12 very good teams this year. Like even beyond that, I mean, Louisville, the 13th team, is the last team with 1 win.
Let's
that's right
just
there.
stop
Louisville.
right there.
No, I'm not talking about.
Stop right
I'm not
there.
talking about Louisville. I'm saying from top to bottom, from 1st to 13th, it's either undefeated or 1-loss teams. It's just insane, like how good football has been this year.
So why not Air Force? Why didn't you mention Air Force? They're undefeated.
So know what the bad thing?
I said
about
from
Air Force-
from 1st to 13th. I'm not talking about the whole thing.
Know what the bad thing about Air Force is you only get 1 group of 5, right, Max?
Mm-hmm.
And
the
it would
12th
be
team, yeah.
Tulane. It would be Tulane that's in front of them because they're ranked higher.
I think
They could still earn their way, couldn't they? There could be
Could.
2 team of 5s.
Well, and also, I mean, that's just as of right now. Who knows?
Yeah, if it ended today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're both undefeated at the end of the season. I bet they'd both get in.
Which I think Tulane has 1 loss,
1 loss.
and it was against Ole Miss.
And the technical verbiage is it's the 6th highest ranked conference champs get an auto bid. So it's not even necessarily the 5 Power 5, but it is, because they'll be the 5 highest, and then the 6th one will be the top group of 5 team, which I think is actually a great way to phrase it, because then it's just the top group of 5 team, and then if you win your Power 5 championship game, you get an auto bid. Great. I think they set that up great, actually. Not a lot that I can speak to, very highly of for a lot of these dumb committees and NCAA sports, but they got that right, in my opinion. So excited for that. Do we want to move on to tank and bank?
Let's do it.
Okay. My tank this week is a team that had a chance to be a ranked in-state rival. They were up by 2 scores in the fourth quarter, and they blow a 2-point conversion. It's Cal. That's my tank. Can't blow that.
I don't have a tank. Skip me and I'll come back.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not prepared. Actually, no. My tank is gonna be Dion. I think the guy's just a fucking idiot.
it's a good tank.
Way to let it all out.
My tank is Brian Ferentz.
Good tank. Good tank.
You beat me to it.
My tank is Dabo Sweeney and his tyrant on the radio show. He is in shambles.
Mine's the obvious Oklahoma.
Connor, big dog. Did Connor say a tank?
Yeah, he said Brian
Said Brian
Ferentz.
Ferentz.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I have
Good
the
tank.
order
Good
wrong.
tank.
Sorry, I was thinking Brian Ferentz was gonna be my bank, so I was like a little confused there.
Maybe.
No, I'm kidding. My bank is the opposite end of Devin's tank. My bank is Kansas. A big win.
Yeah, big win for Kansas. My tank is the Skurs defense.
You said tank, but
Yeah, how original.
Bank. We're in shambles.
my
Yeah.
bank is Kansas too. Good dub for them this weekend.
My bank is the USC over is 8-1 on the year. 8-1.
Okay, get a new gig, guy. Get a new gig.
8-1, crazy.
You better bet something else because Isaiah's taking your lock, so you know for
Again.
a fact it's not hitting.
Okay, it did last week.
It did last week easily.
Yeah, 99 points.
My bank, I would love to go Kansas, but I feel like I got to give props to Arizona. They continue to show out and win big games.
Best 4-4 team you'll ever see.
All right. With that, let's get into a Week 10 preview. This is the best, probably the second, or maybe actually probably the best slate we've had all year. A lot of ranked matchups in here. And is that, let's see, yeah, 5 ranked matchups. That's awesome. You don't get that every weekend. Also in here is a ranked Bedlam matchup, and this is the last Bedlam ever. And it's at Oklahoma State. I don't think that there will have been many more hatred-filled, disgusted fan bases and stadiums than what we're going to see in Stillwater, Oklahoma on Saturday. Because this is the first time those two schools are playing in Stillwater since Oklahoma's announcement that they're leaving. Oklahoma has said many times before that they don't want to keep Bedlam going. Mike Gundy has said many times that the ball's in their court. They can do whatever they want. They're leaving the Big 12 out to dry. They're leaving Oklahoma State out to dry. And again, they're ending Bedlam. It's going to be awesome. That seems to be packed, rocking, and I hope Oklahoma State beats the shit out of the Sooners.
Yeah, that's cowardly by Oklahoma.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be my game of the week. Go Mike Gundy. But some other big matchups in here, too. A 12th ranked Missouri at a number 2 Georgia. Wouldn't have seen that coming preseason.
That's going to be. I'm
Me
surprised
either.
by the spread there, but that's going to be an awesome game. Awesome game.
I also
Uh,
expected Washington and USC to be like a potential top 5 matchup, but here we are. If USC loses this game, they are probably not ranked anymore.
I'm surprised
Oh,
they
yeah,
still are. I'm very surprised they still are.
Yeah. I thought the spread, I mean, I know Washington's been down a little bit. I thought the spread would be a little bit more for the Huskies, but, on the road, both teams have actually been struggling a little bit the last few weeks. USC big time struggling. Washington's still winning. So that'll be very interesting to see how that goes in the Pac-12 race. K-State, Texas, kind of a under the radar. This one's 11 a.m., big noon. I think that could be a really good game. Spread also surprised me. I feel like I've said this more this year than I have before. I don't know, man. Maybe Vegas is playing with us every week now, but
Yeah,
4 points.
I think Quinn Ewers is out.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Quinn Ewers is out.
Mm,
So there's
It's
a freshman.
it's Malik. I don't want to say Murphy.
I'm not sure what his name is. He did play last week.
Malik Murphy.
He did play last week against BYU and chopped him up at BYU plus 18.5. But it's all right. Yeah, I think that's probably why. And K-State's rolling a little bit.
yeah,
They beat the shit out of Houston.
that
Yeah,
they
they
did.
did.
Shutout. And then an always classic matchup between LSU and Alabama. This has become one of the premier rivalries and premier matchups of the last 15 years of our lifetime, certainly in college football. It's gone through its ups and downs, but top 15 matchup. Yeah.
That's going to be an exciting game. That's
Night game.
It's a 3-point spread in favor of Bama, but I think it's going to be a coin flip, honestly.
It'll be interesting to watch the struggling Alabama offense versus LSU, who has one of the worst Power 5 defenses. So very interesting there. As for Big Ten West division action, a couple of massive games in the race going on for the division. Illinois at Minnesota. Minnesota is now favored by 1.5. And then Iowa at Northwestern, asterisk with the at. It's in Chicago, but it's at Wrigley Field, which is pretty awesome. The over-under for that game, as said earlier, is 30.5, which would tie the lowest in history set by Iowa in their last game.
We love setting records.
Brian Ferentz loves setting records.
That's what he does.
Massive games, because if Illinois can win, and if Northwestern can win, Nebraska is solely in the driver's seat in the Big Ten West. And then especially if Indiana can somehow beat Wisconsin, which Wisconsin's only favored by 8.5 right now. And they have like all of their star players injured.
Yeah.
So
Nebraska
Nebraska
also has to win, though.
possibility.
Nebraska does also have to win. But we have the best singular unit in the entire division in our defense. So that's fun. I thought I was going to get some resistance there in terms of the Iowa defense, but
I don't know what you were trying to say there. The best, like the best defense as a whole.
yeah, like offense, defense, like the best unit.
I thought
is
you were
Nebraska.
saying like you had a guy that he was a unit, you know.
I mean Nash, Ty
Yeah.
Rob.
Well, yeah, I don't agree. There's no retaliation.
Fair enough.
Respectfully disagree.
And then let's just get into the Nebraska preview as well. We'll make sure we get into it. Nebraska favored by 3 points at Michigan State. 11 a.m. kick in East Lansing. I think it's going to be a dead atmosphere, which is mostly in favor of Nebraska, but it's going to be a bring your own energy kind of game. Michigan State they started 2-0 against two group of 5 schools. They're 0-6 in their last 6, losing by an average of 22 points per game. That's worst in the Power 5 over that span. Nebraska, meanwhile, in their last 6 games is 5-1. Michigan State also in the last 6 games, their offense is scoring 18 points per game. That is worse than the Power 5. So
Still better than Iowa.
yeah, Iowa was like 19. So
Just squeaking on by.
Yeah, Michigan State is bad.
yeah, they suck.
I mean, Michigan State is terrible. We need to protect the fucking football, and if we just play our own game, we will be just fine.
I'm scared. If
It will be a cakewalk.
we talked about earlier how if we keep fumbling the ball, it's going to look
It will
bad.
come- yeah.
Honest, it's going to be this game. If we turn the ball over, we will lose to Michigan State.
If we could
100%.
turn over the ball against a fucking high school team, and they could potentially score on us because we will fumble in our own zone.
Defense will have to do another bailout.
Yeah, like we just cannot keep putting our defense out there to try to bail us out, which has been working, but one of these times it will not work and we'll have an off day potentially.
You're
We
telling
need to
me.
be perfect. Not perfect, but we need to not be stupid.
Just keep it to like 1 turnover or less. I mean,
yeah.
that'd be money.
Win the
That's-
turnover battle. Win
See,
it.
The good thing about that, winning the turnover battle, is Nebraska and Michigan State are both tied for most turnovers in the Power 5.
Oh, good.
So Michigan State is just as bad.
It's going to be disgusting.
Yes.
We are going to see the football on the ground.
Turnovers in this game.
What was that?
Over under for turnovers in this game.
Yeah,
7.5.
8.
Um,
7.
Michigan State also doesn't really have a quarterback right now. They've played 3 different quarterbacks, pretty similar amounts over their last 6 games. In that they have Sam Levitt, who in that span is 14 of 21. So he's only thrown 21 attempts, but 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. They have Peyton or Catton Hauser. He's 50 of 87. That's only 57%. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not good. And then Noah Kim, who's played the most, 51%. 55 of 107. 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions. So the Michigan State quarterback situation right now is horrible. It's just about as bad as you could ask for. They all have as many or more interceptions than touchdowns. So, yeah, that's in Nebraska's favor. That offense has been terrible. They have the 113th ranked rush offense in the country, and that's Nebraska's strong suit. So I think Michigan State's going to have to be very one-dimensional. And with those interception-prone quarterbacks, again, in our favor. And they only have the 86th ranked pass offense in the country, too. When I look at all these stats and then I look at Nebraska's defense, again, surprised this is a 3-point spread. Really thought it was going to be around a touchdown or more. Maybe 8.5 at the most, but still.
This game scares me for a couple different reasons. The spread is too low, I think, in my opinion, with the way that Nebraska has been playing and the way that Michigan State has been playing. But the turnovers are going to be the key to the game. Both teams turn over the ball. It's going to come down to who can win the turnover battle. And you got to hope that the guys don't get lazy. They need this, and I told you guys earlier, they need to stick to that mindset of 1-0 every week. You know, there's a bowl game, a potential to go to a bowl game on the line on Saturday, and I just don't want them to think, oh, well, we're playing Michigan State, we got an easy win. Like, we are still bottom of the barrel in the Big Ten. We still have more to prove. And I don't want them to get lazy and actually, we're getting punched in the throat and losing to Michigan State.
I completely agree. I hope we don't get tunnel vision and all our sights are on getting to a bowl game and we get lost in all the chaos and lose to Michigan State. I'm scared as well. Like you said, the spread, Vegas knows something. They have to. Apparently they didn't last week, but there's something here, and we don't see it. Vegas somehow does.
Vegas doesn't know. Vegas doesn't know shit.
Well, the thing I will say is I had the same suspicions when Nebraska was a 3.5-point dog at Illinois. And when Brad and I were walking out of the Michigan game, Brad and I, I was like, I think we're going to be 3 to 5 point favorites against Illinois. And we were both saying about that. And then we were 3.5-point dogs, and that didn't seem right with me. And it wasn't right. And I have the same feeling about this one. So I'm going to trust myself over Vegas for this one again. Doesn't feel right.
No, and I would agree. I think if you're going to put money on a game, it's not my lock personally, but I think Nebraska -3 is a good bet. But you guys talk about Michigan State's quarterback situation. Nebraska's quarterback situation is just as bad, and it was pretty evident last week with the way Harburg turned the ball over. You know, it's so hard imagining that he is 5-1 as a starter for Nebraska, and he's winning the football games the way he has been. So it's going to come down to who can take care of the ball.
Yeah, it just keeps finding ways to win.
Mm-hmm.
I would say we've seen one team has been able to overcome leading the Power 5 in turnovers, and one team clearly has not. So that's a pretty big, thing in the right direction for Nebraska. And yeah, it's just the fact that Michigan State, I know Nebraska's quarterback situation isn't much better. I do think it is better because at least we have one quarterback, and they have 3 that they still don't know about. But both the rush offense and pass offense are 85th or worse in the country. I like our defense against that. So yeah. And I think it was your point, Devin, saying hopefully this team doesn't get complacent. I don't think we have adults in the room now so to speak, with Matt Rule. I think he is the guy to not let that happen. I like one of his stories he said in his press conference this week. He had a fan yelling at him as he's going back into the tunnel, saying like, "Just one more, Matt. One more. We need one more to get to a bowl game." And then Matt in the press conference was like, "I don't want just one more. Who wants just one more win?" Love that mentality.
I would agree. I think Rule has done a great job at keeping our guys focused, keeping the players, looking at the bigger picture overall. It's just something that you always have to keep in the back of your head. I'm sure what happened when Oklahoma played Kansas this weekend. They got a little complacent and Kansas just came out firing, and it was something they just couldn't overcome. So I think Nebraska will be fine. I think Nebraska's going to win. If there was a trap game left on the schedule, it would be this game.
For sure.
Yep.
I agree with that.
I do agree. All right. Good preview there. Let's do a game of the week real quick because it is a good slate. I said mine, Bedlam, Oklahoma State. Last one that we're going to see for a long time.
Mine's Nebraska versus Michigan State. This is a huge game for us. We win this, we're going bowling.
Homer pick, but I respect
Isaiah's
it.
got the tunnel vision.
I have the Kool-Aid.
Need Matt Rule to talk to you. Need Matt Rule to talk to you.
All right,
It would be nice to get over that hump.
Yes.
I got Iowa Northwestern at Wrigley. Who couldn't wait?
What the fuck?
Wait a minute.
I got Alabama, LSU.
Okay.
Good pick.
Yeah, my game of the week: Nebraska, Michigan State. No, okay. Overused it. USC, Washington. I think it's going to be like 75-60. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a lot of offense, and I love overs. So that's my game of the week.
Too bad it's not hitting because Washington has a better defense. My
Washington's
game
defense.
of the week is also Alabama LSU. I think this is always a dogfight. 3.5 spread. It does make me nervous. If for a person betting on Alabama, but I'm excited for this game. Would be huge if LSU could get over that hump and get a big win here.
Game of the week on FS1. Tune in if you love turnovers.
11 a.m.
Love special teams.
Tune in if you love seeing teams get bowl eligible and staying in the lead in their division. All right. Love the banter because the Corn Bowl is going to be for the Big Ten West Championship this year, and we're all going.
Would be.
All right.
Cannot wait.
Locks, dogs, picks. It is time. Do we have a guest picker?
No guest picker this week, y'all.
Well, shit.
No guest picker.
Hey,
No guest picker. We don't
Our
need
guest
it.
picker, original Ethan's not gonna listen to this. But I texted Ethan yesterday and then and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna sharp you in. It's like, okay, I think so. Text me today. Hey, I can't do it. Shocker.
Bro.
Shocker.
Shout out Ethan Harding.
Come on now.
Hey,
Come on now.
I'll share this segment of the podcast with him just to piss him off.
Are we doing another?
No, we won't do it.
Nah, let's just.
We'll
do
just
it.
do us.
The coin
We'll just do us
the
five.
coin flip flopped, man.
Get
We can't
rolling.
do that.
We'll just do us five. Yeah. Yeah, George Washington wasn't great.
Yeah, Brad, let's get a record update from last week.
Yeah. So Max went 8-4. Isaiah went 9-3. Headley went 7-5. Our guest picker, Mr. George Washington, 4-8. Not ideal.
He did pick the Kansas game though.
He knew something we didn't. Kansas. Connor went 7-5. I went 8-4, and Devin went 7-5. Isaiah, myself, and Devin all hit our locks, and Isaiah hit his dog. And then our overall record here, we got Max at 78-33, Isaiah at 90-21, Headley at 79-32, Connor at 82-29, myself at 70-41, Devin at 78-33. For the locks, Max is at 5-3, Isaiah 2-6, Headley 4-4, Connor 4-4, myself 3-5, Devin 6-2. And then the dogs, we got Headley leading with 20 points with 4 dogs. Isaiah, Max is at 0, Isaiah's at 2
I got 3.
with 14 points. Isaiah has 14 points. He's still not in the lead. Connor's at 11.5 points. I'm at 3.5 points, and Devin is at 13.5 points. Really doesn't matter about the wins, but Isaiah has 3 for all the 2 people that are listening.
He puts 5.
And then the Brian Ferentz point tracker, nothing changed, 19.5. George Washington did not hit his dog or lock, which was crazy. Virginia was actually kind of close against Miami.
Virginia was leading for a while.
Yeah, they're in shambles. But yeah, that is the record update.
All right. I do want to shout out the Michigan State Minnesota bad beat with the over there. That was a tough pill to swallow, but
That's tough.
Yeah,
you had a
that is
tough, tough week for lock and dog.
I
You know
know.
what was
Yeah, true.
Never a doubt. Air Force under.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well, if we want to shout out our dog or our lock, me and Isaiah over 65.5 hit 99.
Rushed the number. Rushed the
Fucking
number.
murdered it.
Was not sweating for a second in that game.
Nope.
No.
You actually felt like you were in a freezer for that game.
I was in a freezer at the Husker game.
All right.
All right. Let's get into it. Locks, like we always start off with. I'm going Big Ten action. Wisconsin, Indiana, under 45.5. Wisconsin has a lot of injuries on offense right now. And they have a pretty good D, which both play well to the under. So,
Yeah, I'm still in Brad's lock again. USC, Washington, over 75.5.
that is a number.
That's a high number. Washington's going to score all of those points.
I got Minnesota minus 1.5 against Illinois. You know, I just think Minnesota's going to win, so chances they win by 1, small.
Yeah, I was really debating on not doing this lock because I was like, 75.5, a little rich for my blood. Washington's defense is not that good. USC's offense is good. USC's defense, as we all know, terrible. What, Devin?
Washington's defense is not that good.
Washington's defense is not that good. Yeah, look them up. But I'm going to go USC Washington over 75.5.
Oregon to 33.
And they scored 35.
They scored 36. Bitch.
Sorry.
That's my cuss word.
But an honorable mention I want to say Nebraska -3 is a lock, and that's not a homer pick.
My boys in blue are back this week. I got the Michigan over against Purdue, 50.5.
Michigan's going to score that themselves.
We have some.
They're gonna shut
fellas-
Purdue.
They haven't let me down yet.
That's a big number for Big Ten.
It's always been right around like 48, 49 for Michigan.
I know. Is Purdue's got to score. That's the only scary thing.
I think Purdue's going to get a garbage time touchdown, and Michigan's going to score 45 points.
That'd be huge.
We have some of the guys going with their, trusty locks, but the highest numbers we've seen yet on them. So, by the way, what was that, Brent?
I was gonna say don't fix something that ain't broken.
No, you're not wrong. Not wrong. I looked it up because I was curious about what the highest over/under in college football history is, because we have the lowest right now would be tied again with Northwestern, Iowa 30.5, and we have USC Washington at 75.5. The highest over/under ever is 90.5.
Holy shit!
When?
It was Texas Tech and Baylor, but it was in 2015, which, if you guys remember, that is the glory days of like the Big 12 defense.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the years when Pat Mahomes played Baker Mayfield, and
Mahomes.
the
600 yards.
Yeah.
Both of them.
and the games ended like 65-55.
I miss some of those.
I don't think
games.
we'll ever see a over/under break that. That was like,
Did it
That's
hit?
insane.
let me look it up. Let me look up the score for that.
I hope
Texas.
Headley does the Iowa Northwestern under for the culture.
Texas Tech and Baylor ended at a final of 63-35, so they overhit.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
98?
Holy shit!
Wow.
I mean, again,
Patrick Mahomes threw for 415 yards and 3
Brand, man.
you know what? The title of this says, this is so funny. Bears go home with a 28-point victory over the Red Raiders and, keyword here, another 600-yard offensive performance.
Jesus.
That's how another average day in the Big 12 back then.
Hot damn.
Their running back ran for 221.
See,
Oh,
that's the type of football I like. I love overs. Love scoring.
in
Another crazy stat: Jarrett Stidham was the backup for Baylor.
Oh,
Jarrett Stidham,
I don't know.
he's a
who that is.
quarterback in the NFL. He's a proclaimed backup in the NFL.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Never heard of him.
No, yeah, let's say
he was on the Patriots.
I just remember him from Baylor. But I think in 5 years we might look at these Big Ten West numbers in the same light and be like 30 and a half. Like,
Yeah.
what? So it's kind of funny.
I hope so.
They're consistently going in the 30s for the line. It's so fun.
And the unders are hitting.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love Big Ten West football.
I don't know why they haven't put it lower than 30.
They're scared.
Especially
Vegas is scared.
They are scared, but like, it's a
We could
It's a-
alter our line for this weekend and put it at 25.5. Do the under. Make some dough.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a thing. All right. Let's get into the dogs this week. I was still deciding between mine, as I usually do at this time, but I'm going to go with a line that is much bigger than I thought it'd be, and that's BYU plus 10 against West Virginia. They're both 5-3. BYU's a perfectly capable team, plus 10.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I got Arizona plus 2.5 against the UCLA Bruins.
Louisville's going down this week. Virginia Tech plus 9.5. Give me some points.
I'm gonna go Kansas plus 2.5 against Iowa State. I'm a little shocked they are the dog. Not gonna lie to you.
I'm gonna beat a broken record here, but I also got Kansas plus 2.5. They just beat freaking Oklahoma.
They're not a bad team. I think
I
Iowa
know.
State's not that great.
Yeah, that was
Connor.
another interesting one.
The only
Connor,
thing it's got going for it is purchase more ham and bacon.
hey
Shout
Connor,
out to NIL.
What?
Wait, what? Who?
fuck your dog, man.
Have you seen that the NIL deal that some of the Iowa State players have?
No.
There's 4 guys. One guy's last name is Purchase. The next guy's last name is Moore. The third guy's name is Hammond. And the last guy's name is Bacon.
That's kind of funny.
So together, purchase more ham and bacon.
Oh, that's kind of funny. That's good. That's good on
Yeah.
whoever the NIL guy.
So they got some NIL deal with a meat place.
That's smart.
Schmate.
Schmeat. Into the picks now. Straight up. Saturday slate. Awesome slate this Saturday. Tons of good games. Super pumped for this one. Starting with Notre Dame at Clemson. Sneaky good matchup here. I know Clemson's 4-4. I know Dabo's a meme, but they're a little bit better of a team than 4-4. They've just been 2021 Nebraska game. They've been losing games with turnovers and stupid mistakes. But I still got Notre Dame. I think they're a little too strong.
Yeah, I agree. I got Notre Dame here. I think they're still pretty strong here.
Yep, I got the Irish.
What's going on with not Isaiah?
We're gonna hedge Isaiah's bets.
Okay,
Picks this
cool.
week.
Yeah, so our guest picker is not Isaiah. He's going to go Clemson. I am going to go Notre Dame. Actually, I kind of like that idea.
Fuck you, Brad.
I'm going to go Notre Dame, though.
I am also going Notre Dame. I'm kind of shocked that they're not favored. This is the worst team Dabo Swinney's ever had, and they just are continuing to go in the wrong direction.
Not Isaiah's dog is Virginia Tech. Hey, that wasn't me. I think that was Max.
That might have been me.
That was good.
Max. No.
Hey,
And
no,
then
Isaiah.
and then the lock is under for the USC.
Yeah, it's not Isaiah.
I feel like we should go under now.
Virginia Tech
God.
plus 9.5, baby.
I hate
Good
this.
pick, not Isaiah. All right. Group of 5 game of the week. Mountain West. Mountain West is the new American Athletic Conference. They got some good teams this year. Late night, 9:30 game. Give me Boise State. They're hot right now.
Yeah, give me Boise State as well. They're hot right now, and Fresno State hasn't really performed the way that I thought they would in some of their bigger games.
Give me Vegas and Fresno State here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with home team Fresno State, and not Isaiah's going Fresno State as well.
Yep. Let's keep it going. I got Fresno State. I'm gonna roll with Vegas on this one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was spacing off. UCLA at Arizona. Arizona is officially good, so they're going to win the game. That's all I got.
Arizona's got their team cracking like a 2-egg shell. Doubling down on my dog 2 weeks in a row. Not Isaiah's picking UCLA, by the way.
Yep. Hate to break it to you, but not Isaiah's right here. UCLA, the Bruins.
This one's a little tough. I am gonna go Arizona. I can very well see UCLA winning.
I got to root for the future Big Ten team. Let's go UCLA.
That's Big Ten West right there. Way west.
Way west.
Next year, that'll be Big 10 versus Big 12. How
Mhm.
odd. Kansas, Iowa State. Now, this one's a close spread, which surprised me, as you guys mentioned earlier. But I'm going to go with Kansas. I think, they're going to ride the momentum of that big one.
Yeah, I got Kansas here. I don't know what Vegas is smoking. And not Isaiah's picking Vegas.
I'm going with Iowa State here. I think sometimes teams after a big win like that come back the next week and aren't quite ready. They're going to lose.
Iowa State's, I believe, hot right now, but I like Kansas a lot better. I think they're just a better team.
Said a little bit ago, only thing Iowa State's got going for it is their NIL. I got Kansas.
Connor, there's some. Surprised you picked Iowa State, man. The in-state rival.
Business. It's business.
Okay.
Business,
We're a
man,
non.
Vegas knows, man. Vegas knows.
Well, not Isaiah
company.
knows, so.
All right.
Not Isaiah doesn't know.
A
He doesn't
newcomer
know.
to the spread pick this year. I don't think we've had Tennessee as a spread pick. It seems like they've all been Michigan. But Tennessee favored by 35, or Georgia playing their cupcake schedule as well. Anyway, Tennessee 35.5-point favorites playing UConn. One of these awkward midseason cupcake games that the SEC just loves. I got Tennessee covering. They're going to score a lot of points.
I think that's a lot of points for Tennessee to win by. I know UConn's bad, but I think that's a lot of points to beat a team by. So I'm going no here, and not Isaiah is disagreeing with me.
Go figure.
Yeah. I'm going with no here as well. UConn, they might just go out there and win it, honestly.
Dog?
Kidding. I got no
New
clue.
dog
So
of
I'm
the week.
going with no here.
I debated on changing. I am going to say yes, though. They will barely cover. It will be a little bit of a sweat.
This is too many points for an average SEC team to cover. I don't think they do it.
Fair takes from everyone there. I like how our games so far, for the most part, have been pretty split. This is good. It speaks to the kind of week that this is. Good games. Georgia and Missouri next. This game, I believe this was the one at Missouri last year where Missouri really should have upset Georgia. It was crazy. But I think Georgia's a little too strong. So, Missouri, I don't know that they're the 12th best team. So give me the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you never would have thought starting the season that this would be a number 2 versus number 12 matchup. I'm going Georgia here, but I think it's be a good game. I really like not Isaiah's pick, though.
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia too. If Missouri was at home, I'd maybe think about picking them, but you can't go against Georgia here. You just can't.
No, you cannot, Connor. I'm going Georgia. I think they are rolling right now, and I agree with you, Max. I don't think Mizzou is the 12th best team in the nation, but this will show.
Who the Louisville is.
I am agreeing with not Isaiah tonight. I think Missouri is going to pull off the upset. There's no Brock Bowers for Georgia anymore. So I'm rolling with Tigers. They get it done.
Next guy.
I like it. Let's get some upset picks in there. Now we move to the Big Ten West. The games everyone's been waiting for. Illinois at Minnesota, only 1.5 point spread. Gonna be a dog fight. I got Minnesota because Illinois is not that good. They're worse than Minnesota in my opinion. But I'm gonna be rooting for this pick to be wrong. Go Illinois all day.
Yeah, I'm going Illinois here. I don't know why. I just feel like picking them.
Yeah, I'm going with Minnesota. I agree. Illinois is not that good, and Minnesota's just a little bit less bad.
Fuck
Minnes-
Pajama Fleck. Going Illinois.
I think Minnesota's kind of good. They beat Iowa, so
I also got Illinois.
And Nebraska.
they haven't beat Nebraska in the last year.
Hey, they didn't beat Nebraska on a bullshit call though.
Yeah, bullshit.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Happy birthday, Brandon.
He says thank you. He's pissed off. Blue ripped a hole in his shirt just now.
Devin, did Devin say your pick?
Yeah,
I said Illinois.
Okay. Northwestern Iowa now at Wrigley Field. This game's a 2:30 game on Peacock. Pretty cool though at Wrigley. I'm gonna go Northwestern. They sneak one out here. The Iowa offense don't really even need to say anything. And Connor, I hope Iowa wins for you, but for Nebraska, I hope Northwestern wins.
Okay.
Hey, I'm going Northwestern here. I think they're going to be really excited to play in Wrigley. I think it's going to help their momentum. If Brian Ferentz doesn't give a fuck, he's done.
Yeah, Brian Ferentz don't give a fuck no more. He's opening the playbook wide open. At least 40 points this week.
He's going to throw the ball downfield 10
They're gonna
yards.
shatter the over on their own.
I think it's
Iowa.
fitting. I think it's fitting this game is in a baseball stadium because the score could resemble that kind of game.
It's gonna be like 3-6.
Yeah, Brian Ferentz is going to open up this playbook. They're going to throw it 10 yards down the field for the first time this year. I'm going to go Iowa. But yeah, I'm with Max. Sorry, I'm going for Northwestern.
I am also going Iowa. I think they also put up a lot of points. We're going to see a lot of flea flickers, fumble rooskies, ass backward reverses. The whole playbook's open. And that baseball field is Brian Ferentz's canvas.
Can't wait to see the Iowa flea flicker swing pass. That's gonna be awesome.
Cooper DeJean's going to get his first career
Yeah.
touchdown pass.
He's going up this week.
Next we move on to Bedlam. Oklahoma State. Go Oklahoma State all the way. All of this stupid realignment, let's not forget, it was started by Oklahoma and Texas, leaving the rest of their conference mates in the dust. They want to ruin college football. They want to end Bedlam. Go Mike Gundy.
Yep, same exact reason. Mike Gundy's pissed. They just want to kick. Give him a nice kick to the SEC, beating him here.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma's going to bounce back this week and get the dub.
Yeah, I'm going to go Oklahoma as well.
I'm rooting for Oklahoma State, but I think Oklahoma's going to win.
Fair enough. Super excited for that game. Washington, USC, another high-powered matchup here. I got Washington. They're not as down in the dumps as much as USC. In fact, not really at all. They're still undefeated. So go Washington.
Yeah, I'm going Washington. They've had a tough past couple of weeks, but Michael Penix and the Huskies are going to turn things around this week.
I don't really know who's going to win this game, but I just kind of had a feeling it's going to be Caleb Williams, so I'm picking USC.
I'm going to go Washington here. USC is so fraudulent, and I cannot wait to see them not ranked next week.
I'm rooting for Washington and the under. It's going to be a low-scoring game.
Next, Kansas State and Texas. I was really tempted to pick the upset with Kansas State in this one. Chris Kleiman, he's a coach that can do this. But I got to go with Texas. I think they're still too strong of a team.
Yep, nothing else to say. Texas.
Yeah, even without Ewers. I think they're still gonna win.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go the safe pick here and go with Texas. I do think Kansas State has a good shot, but I think Texas is better pick.
I'm going Longhorns all the way. I think Malik Murphy found his rhythm last week, and I think it continues.
All right, LSU at Alabama, classic, rivalry, classic premier matchup. I'm not going to doubt Nick Saban this time. They lost to LSU last year. LSU, man, they got an awesome offense. Jaden Daniels at quarterback, or is it Jalen? Jaden?
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I mix them up all the time.
It's
Oh,
Jaden Daniels.
Okay,
It's
Jaden
Daniels.
Daniels.
Jaden, yeah.
Very much so in the running for the Heisman Trophy. He's efficient and he has a ton of yards. But not going to doubt Nick Saban. Like I said, Alabama wins.
Like Headley says, you can't pick against Saban. I'm going Alabama here. I really like not Isaiah's pick. It's going to be a good game.
I think Connor froze.
Connor freeze like that?
Oh no! He was about to
Good
say it
face.
too.
Oh, there we go. He's back.
There he is. There he is.
Connor, who
back?
you got? Yeah, you're back.
I said I got Alabama. There's nothing else to say here.
That's
You
I
weren't
always
saying
freeze
much.
during the picks.
You were frozen like this.
It was
I look
funny.
nice.
Yeah.
Literally
Majestic.
about to say
Literally.
same as well. I'm gonna go Bama. You don't pick against Saban.
Roll Tide, baby.
All right, last but not least, massive game for Nebraska. Chance to get to bowl eligibility for the first time since 2016. Would love to see it. Chance to stay tied for first in the division race. I like how this team's playing right now. They're bought in. Defense is playing with more confidence than they have in over a decade. I don't want to jinx it. I'm going to knock on wood. I don't think Michigan State can get to double digits as long as Nebraska doesn't turn it over like 3 or 4 times in their own zone. That's not asking much. Nebraska wins 24-9.
Yeah, I'm taking Nebraska here. We're going bowling after this week. I also agree that I just don't think Michigan's going to score a touchdown. I got the score 30-9. Not Isaiah. You're a fucking idiot.
You don't think Michigan's going to score a touchdown on Purdue?
Michigan State.
Yeah.
I realized we were playing Michigan.
The fuck?
I'm going with Nebraska here, but just like you guys said, not rooting for them. Business decision.
Hey, it's fair. It's fair.
24-20.
I respect the hell out of that.
All right, I do respect that. Going fucking Nebraska, dude. I mean, 3-point favorites is a lock. An actual lock. And their money line is like minus 150. Bet that. Bet that. Get units.
Bet it all. Bet the over.
Guys,
money line
Nebraska is
spread.
not going to fucking lose this game against Michigan State, who has
this
been
is
so
good.
bad.
Terrible.
Quote me.
0-6
I'm
versus
clipping
5-1.
So
I'm
fucking
clipping
bad.
this.
You
right
gotta
now.
be
Yeah, this is
sick
not good,
to
guys.
think Michigan State's gonna win this game. You gotta be sick. Go bigger. That's all I got.
Last time we had somebody kind of pop off like that was
Sick.
when Max did that with Colorado. So that's tough.
Damn. Book it. Go bet Michigan State right now. I got Nebraska. I think the defense shows up big time. They get us to a bowl game. We win 35-0.
Oh my goodness! In November.
Honorable mention
Dang.
for picks. Rangers, Diamondbacks. Who's your pick tonight?
D-bags.
D-backs keep the series going.
Let's go. Let's go. We need game 7. We need game 7. Let's go D-backs.
Let's get it going.
Let's go. Let's go
D-backs.
D-backs.
Rangers probably just gonna do it tonight.
Yeah, they might. They might.
Yeah, it do be looking like the Rangers are going to take it.
All right, boys. Massive game this weekend. Let's go. Away game, 3 in a row. Let's make it 4. We're 5-1. They're 0-6 in the last 6. I can't wait to watch this defense play. The crowd was feeding off it at Memorial. Let's do it. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for us. Even besides that Husker game, which, again, if you're a Husker fan, man, you're looking forward to this game more than you've looked forward to a game in a long time. And it's an awesome slate of college football this weekend. 5 ranked matchups, some huge games in terms of the Big Ten West standings, a game at Wrigley Field. Going to be awesome. Can't wait. College football, like I said, to start the podcast, and I'll say it to end it for myself. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
All right, let's go ahead and end things here. I'm amped right now. Nebraska, we are going 6-1 in the last 7 games. We're going bowling. We're going fucking bowling. Come on.
Wait,
We're going 9-3. We taking the Big
Did
Ten
you guys
West.
hear Hail Varsity, or was I just on mute?
Nope, I heard that.
I could not hear that.
I heard that.
Oh, man.
All right.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red, baby. As always, stay safe. Have a good
Go
weekend.
Hawks.
Go
Go
Hawks.
Hawks.